looking back over the years and listening to many YouTubers like Geeks and Gamers, Overlord DVD, and Clownfish TV, as well as many others, it is true. This franchise is filled with a toxic fan base. This is not a baseless comment. When George Lucas released A New Hope, people liked it. Then, when Empire came out, people loved it. Now, this is where it all began. In 1983, Return of the Jedi came out, and kids loved it, but many adults disliked the Ewoks. Then the years passed on, and in 1997, George Lucas released the special editions. He updated the graphics and many details in scenes. The crowds hated them. Then we got the prequels, and oh my god, I swear, the fans ripped and trashed the prequels. All of this was from the mind and writings of George Lucas, who now is called a great filmmaker, but back then, not so much. People attacked Jar Jar's actor, Ahmed Best, while he came out and said that he was treated badly by the media. It was also the time of the beginning of social media. Keyword media. I'm sure other media forums chimed in with their 2 cents, but the thing is, everybody was complaining about it. I was 17 going on 18 when the prequels came out. I saw episode 1 with my father many times. We both loved it. We agreed that Jar Jar could have been toned down a little bit, but he wasn't bad. Now, as a father who just recently watched episode 1 with my 5-year-old for the first time, she was cracking up at Jar Jar. She loves Star Wars. So there is something to be said by putting some things in the story for children. Now, Lucas sells off his franchise to Disney. Oh, we will touch on that later. They make The Force Awakens. And like Phantom Menace, people like it at first. But then, because it had a few things in common with A New Hope, people called it a carbon copy. Then they make The Last Jedi, which is unlike any Star Wars movies today. But is it? The answer is no. No, it was very similar, but people overlooked those facts. In fact, people overlooked a lot of facts because the new trilogy was using smart storytelling, where they showed rather than told. I am covering those in other videos. As I said, I did not focus on the politics of Star Wars until after The Last Jedi came out, because I did not want the movie to be spoiled. I wanted to go in blind, however. The more and more I paid attention, I realized that people were only being told half-truths. Example, Colin Trevorrow, as most know, was supposed to originally make the 9th movie, and everyone knows that Kathleen Kennedy fired him due to creative differences. This, from what I found out, is true, but there is more to it. Apparently, he presented 2 different scripts to her and the higher-ups at Disney, both of which were rejected. Now, okay, you may say that proves the point, but I have heard many complaints about Jurassic World. Those movies, when Colin Trevorrow was let go, JJ was brought back. Oh my god, since then, trash, trash, trash all over social media and YouTube. People trashed Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, Kelly Marie Tran. It was as if people did not learn a thing from the Jar Jar. However, the fans aren't toxic. Thing is, something new happened. Filmmakers were striking back. Rian Johnson called some naysayers on Twitter man baby. First off, I believe he was only targeting certain people with that comment. The ones that were criticizing his cast and crew. See, it takes more than one single person to make a movie. When you trash a movie you claim to be a fan of, it insults more than just one or two people. It insults every single person who helped make that movie a reality. Just like you would say, his comment to those few people insulted all the fans. The name of each person in the credits, each person, whether you see them or not. When a movie is called a piece of shit, you are saying that everyone involved with the project. When you call a movie a piece of shit, you are saying that about everyone involved with the project. If you had a job and you are the manager and your fellow coworkers all come in and do their best and the customers start saying your work is shit, how would you feel? Knowing that all your employees tried their hardest? Here's the thing. The Last Jedi had 16 producers. Not just Kathleen Kennedy. There were 15 other people. So Rian Johnson must have made a convincing argument to have all 16 producers on board. Yet YouTubers only want to point out the bad and trash the film, which clearly they took their brains out to watch. Otherwise, several of their arguments would be seen as weak, like the mutiny Poe started or the Holdo maneuver, which I have covered in a previous video. So let's review. Episode 4, people like. 5, they love. 6, they dislike. 1, they hate. 2, they dislike. 3, they like. 7, they like, then they dislike. 8, they hate. Then we get to 9, and they hate it. But the thing is, Disney movies have had such a trash hype, hating 9 was the only thing these people would admit to. I loved 9. In fact, I loved 9 a lot. The Last Jedi was one of my least favorite of the films, but the more and more I have discussed the film, the more and more I've grown to like it. Now, this is not saying Disney Star Wars does not have a few issues, but the issues they have are very minor. Everyone acts as if Disney had just got their hands into the Star Wars franchise and Lucasfilms. What everyone seems to forget is they owned the Jim Henson Company for a long time, and they have had a Star Wars ride for ages. Anybody remember Star Tours? I do. Now Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers ends each of his videos where he trashes Disney Star Wars by saying, Solo lost money. This proves he is doing one of two things. A, he is relishing in the destruction of a franchise he claims to be a fan of, or B, he is not a fan. He is using Star Wars as a means to get clicks and views. I watched a live stream of his recently where he and others were trashing these films and people were sending him money. Lots and lots of money. Me, I am not getting paid for this video. I am not a part of Disney. I grew up with this franchise. I played the games, I read the books, I bought the merch. I remember when Lucas said this was supposed to be 9 movies. And if everyone did not trash the prequels, we may have gotten these 3 a lot earlier. See, yes, as a fan, you should want a good product, but you have to have a valid reason to make a complaint. See, everyone can have a different opinion, but if you only complain and hate, then you're not a fan. That is a hater. Now people are getting Disney Plus just to watch The Mandalorian, then dropping it after they binge watched the first season. I tweeted about how horrid this action was, and someone replied, "Oh, well, Disney made 4 movies that made a bunch of money. They are not hurting for cash." Here is the thing. Why would they keep making something that is not profitable to the company? Marvel movies are profitable. Disney cartoons are profitable. However, if Star Wars is not profitable, why would they continue the series if it's making them no money? My friend said it's because, oh, well, there's nothing they are interested in seeing. However, if you were a fan, you would want to turn Star Wars into a franchise that is profitable. Another thing that is a fact about streaming services, it tells Disney what you like most. So if Star Wars gets very few views, that will show them. However, if you're a fan, you would want to turn Star Wars into a profitable franchise. Another fact about streaming services, it tells Disney what you like. The more views Star Wars gets, the more they can focus on that franchise. It's like the view counters on YouTube videos. These are just my opinions and the facts I have seen or found. Also, each fan did not watch the OG films one time, then never return. No, they watched them countless times and shared them with others. How can you claim to be a fan if you're going to be blinded by the truth? How can you claim to be a fan if you're going to be blinded by the truth? I will be making videos on these topics, but in short, Rey is not a Mary Sue. How does the Force really work? The OG characters were not disrespected. Palpatine returning was badass. Solo was a good movie. Rogue One could have been better. The real problems with Disney's Star Wars, why Luke gave up and quit, and so much more. Thing is, I am not the only person who has seen these things. I will give proper credit to others who have seen the same things I have seen. So to all the true fans of this franchise, help support these ideas. I beg you not to let the SJWs, the haters, the pretenders, or the feminists of the world win. Another example that I know what I'm saying is recently people act as if force healing is new. It has been in the games and the books in the expanded universe for this series a long time. Yet Jeremy and Clown TV like to only point out these expanded universe facts when they shovel out a poor mistake. Both channels have made videos about They Fly Now. C-3PO and Finn say this as a question. Poe says it as a confirmation. C-3PO is hardly on the battlefield. And the First Order is not the Empire. They were a cheap copy. More on that later, though. Finn, if you remember, was a janitor. No one has seen them developing tech for the new troop. Perhaps he had no idea they were developing that tech for the troopers. Poe, I have heard, has seen this in the comics. Not everyone can afford the comics. So this is the first time in the movies we see stormtroopers do this. Yes, other bounty hunters have done this, but moving on for now. Because no real fan would let others destroy something they love. If you're a sports fan, you don't sit by and let other people trash talk your team. You defend it, even if they're having a bad year. So in closing, let's band together and save Star Wars.